straight out of his mouth. Well, I don't care who paints this mural. I just want you to know I'm a racist.
Right,
As
that's
long as
it.
the mural gets done. And he just interjected it so, easily. And I just saw the three ladies that were a part of the panel, their jaw just dropped.
Yeah.
They were like, and I looked at how comfortable Jim was in just saying, I'm a racist. I just want to make
He
sure
is
that
who
this
he-
mural is done on time. And I know he's like looking at me and I'm like, okay. And I look at the three ladies, they're, they haven't picked up their jaw yet. And I'm like, look back at Jim, and then I look at the ladies again, and I was a little bit more disappointed at the women, but just the panel, because I was like, you guys have been around Jim.
Yeah, you should
You
know.
know Jim talks
should
like
know
this.
these things. Yeah, yeah.
Are you shocked because I'm in the room now?
Yeah, that's. I think
So I
that's
look
what
back
it
at-
was.
I look back at Jim, and I said, don't worry about it, Jim. I'm a racist too.
Right.
And Jim just started chuckling. Ha, 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 ha. I like this guy. Get this guy to paint the wall.
Give me the paint, give me the chalk, give me the urban artist talk. Conversations from the heart, from the start we set apart. Art a la carte, now check it.
All right, yes, we're welcoming you back to another episode where we discuss all of the urban artwork, gallery artwork, the concepts and the feelings that go into all of this creativity that people produce. So we got a very special guest with us here today. Not only just a guest, but my brethren, my comrade in this art field here in the Bay Area in Oakland, one of the first artists that I met up with here in Oakland, and really just genuinely connected with, and was like, you know what, I want to hit these streets, I want to paint murals, I want to hit walls, but I need a comrade. I need somebody that is going to go out there and just, without flinching, hit these walls, liquor stores, try and get projects. And my man, the owner and founder of KMBA, Kiss My Black Arts, now Kimba, artistic, welcome you to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
that was a warm welcome.
Bruh, you was my guy.
I love that welcome right there. And I truly love the fact that I was one of the first that you sought out coming to the Bay, man, because I love this area.
It's coming from the East Coast to the Bay. Well, honestly, I first started up, in the marijuana industry up north. So I didn't do any artwork for like 3 or 4 years, and then I was like itching to paint. Moved down to the Bay because there wasn't nothing to paint up there. So I moved down to the Bay, and there were certain cats. There was Math One, Dead Eyes, and Artistic. Kiss My Black Arts, where I was just like, see they artwork, T-shirts, merchandise, and was like, oh, these are some brothers that I need to get up with.
Yeah.
So, and then I seen you was like the most active during the time, and I was like, oh, bro, can I come paint with you? Can we do something? And yeah, man.
And we did just that.
And we did
we
did
just that. We painted. I didn't even at that time when we met, I didn't even know you was from out of the area. I just knew you painted. And so I was just like, let's paint. Let's paint.
That's all that mattered at that moment in time. It was the art. And I feel like that's really the connection with so many of the guests that are going to be on the show, but just for the world that just, you ain't even, it doesn't matter where you're from or what your ideology, when you see those colors, when you're a creator yourself and you want to help produce those images, it's like, let's do this.
Let's do it. And I appreciate those moments, man. I mean, there's some of the fondest moments that I have, especially as a muralist, public artist, because some of the projects that we've done together are still monumental in my memories.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? The jumpity bumpities,
Woo-woo!
and all of those projects, man. I go back. We go back, man. So,
oh man,
beautiful journey, man. And I think even before the Vallejo joint, there was still this.
Wait, was Bumpity Jumpity? That was before Vallejo.
That was before Vallejo. Yeah.
Yeah, because we was traveling.
I think with Jumpity Bumpity, we was kind of loose ends. We was painting for pay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think Vallejo was when we was like, okay, we
hit
need
them
to
on the Bumpity Jump. A lot of people don't even know what a Bumpity Jumpity is.
I know, huh? We just say
we just talking Bumpity Jumpity. What is a Bumpity Jumpity?
It's the bounce house. It's a big warehouse where kids can just eat their pizza and then bounce off these inflation. What is with the little soft play toys or whatever you call them, But we did the mural.
Yeah.
We did the backdrop for it. We did
Was
the
it
whales,
whales and fish and bubbles
Nemo
and-
type characters,
and coral
reefs. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful project. Even the client, she was interesting to work with. She's grown since then because I went back, because somebody had invited me to a birthday party.
Yeah.
And it was good to be back in there and see our work.
Yeah.
And not going as an artist, but going as a patron.
See?
And
then
then
do a little bump and jump yourself.
Yeah, a little bumpity jumpity, But yeah, man, it was But times like that is, you don't forget them.
Nah,
You don't forget them.
I want to speak to. So I feel like during that course of our artistic career, we were, painting liquor stores. We had made the decision that we wanted to try and do this full time.
Right.
Can you speak to what it is, or what motivated you to want to be an artist full time, or even just what were those moments like? The struggle, the stories that go along with just pursuing
I'm
that.
so glad you asked that question because I've so long wanted to be an artist full time because I'm an artist full time, so it makes sense. But I had never found no one that wanted to do it along with me.
Yeah.
Folks always wanted to paint with me. Yeah, oh, you're doing a mural, let me paint with you. Or you got a project going on over here in the city, let me help you. But I needed someone to kind of like shoulder up with me.
Yeah.
And really make it happen.
Take a team.
It's
a lot of paint to carry.
It's a lot of paint to carry and clean up.
Don't talk about the cleanups.
So going through, project after project, I'm not even say year after year because I don't put time on my creativity, but project after project, not having that individual that was down to like take leadership with me.
Yeah.
And that was big for me at the time because I was ready to not only take that position myself, but then also fall back and just be the creative guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we connected, at the Jumpity Bumpity or whatever our first, I can't remember what our first project was. But for now, I'm gonna call it Jumpity Bumpity.
All right. I feel like there were some liquor stores in there.
I feel like it was too, because I know we did a mural down on 31st and San Pablo, where you did the sister reading the Metal Netter book.
Yeah, but Afro Girl and Yogi Bear was our first.
That was our
together.
first one with the scaffolding.
With the scaffold and the graffiti crew.
Yes.
With,
I just told that story the other day too.
A couple of other cats.
Okay, that was our first.
Was Theezy out there with us on that
Theezy, Arms was out there. It was another graph crew. I can't remember their name.
Was it Dirt?
I can't remember.
He had that was the first time I seen the extendo ladder. I was like,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
He just pulled it out of his book bag and said, bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah.
Got like 10 feet up there. I was like, damn.
Well, that's when those that just came out on the market too.
Yeah. Those were
so
fresh.
if you had one, it was kind of like status.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
But that was the first project. I think that was like 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And it was like the whole Hanna-Barbera theme. And I did the Afro Girl with the brush.
Yeah.
Was that our? I feel like
that
that
was
might
our
have been. That was our first production. We went hard for our first.
We went hard for that because I did the big Yogi Bear with the boo boo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Yogi was like introducing Afro Girl, and that was like because you had introduced me to like all the artists that we was painting with. I remember them laughing because I was still using a brush at the time.
You was the only one using a brush.
I was the only one using the brush. They were spraying, and everybody's like, "Man, you gonna finish in time?" I'm like, "Bruh, this."
But look at you now. Look at you,
bruh. I can.
I remember. Okay, so I think that probably was, because that, like I said, I just told that story the other day to someone because I remember we was even rookies to setting up scaffolding, and our scaffolding had a little mishap, and we put a little extra blue paint.
Yep.
In the city of Oakland.
You're welcome, Oakland.
Yeah. But what was dope about that is that we incorporated that into our mural.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how we did it, but I remember we made that a thing.
Added some more drops and let it up to, I don't even remember, but I remember that was our first production. And yeah, that was a great kickstart because I feel like that wall got a long run.
It did.
Until we painted it over.
Until we did, yeah.
Till the Black
Was
Liberation.
it Black
walking tour.
Liberation? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel like this corridor was like our little hub.
It was
of
our
like
canvas.
mural jump offs, and
Yeah.
it was our canvas for a good year or two.
Yeah.
Because we had scattered like a good 7 or 8 murals right here in West
Yeah,
Oakland.
right here in this area. Because we did the project with Ebalsi.
Yep.
And so we got the smaller murals dancing around, you know, in the liquor stores and
Yep.
on the community buildings, the abandoned buildings.
Got up with MJ, painted his fence,
Yep.
and that's how we did Art Clash. But yeah, I didn't even want to jump. That's
Yeah,
man,
that's
we
how it
jumped-
happened.
woo!
That's how it happened.
It was
That's
just like that whole
right
ripple
here.
effect. Yeah, right here, West Oakland.
Right here.
It was
The
our hub. It was
headquarters.
And then, yep, now we still here.
Yeah.
We're inside the California Hotel, and you know, Ebalsi partnered up with them, still doing projects with them. So yeah,
Beautiful.
we put it down here in West Oakland for a good it's
Good
going on
minute since our first project,
yeah,
I think.
9 years now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, this area was giving out the money for artists, so we was like, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll paint it. You
Yep.
know?
Trying our best to put on, you know, some type of presentable, like, yeah, we
I
do
think
this.
I think it spruced us up a little bit, G, because I think you and I, we got on our business side
Right.
of being artists, because we was like, okay, these people have a seat at the table and they're just paying us,
Right.
but we want to be the one paying artists too and creating.
Exactly.
So we kind of
That's when we stepped up our
we
game
leveled
a little
up.
bit.
We leveled up.
And that led us to the Vallejo project, because when we did Vallejo, there was no Bay Area mural program yet.
No.
It was just artistic and natty.
Natty Rebel. Yeah, it was.
And we painted up the side of the building down there on Georgia Street with the whole cityscape. That was a funny story, just working with Jim. You remember Jim?
I remember Jim. I can't forget Jim.
Oh, man. Oh, we got so many stories
Jim,
about Jim.
I think Jim is like that ongoing villain in all of my mural stories.
He is that Thanos that
yeah,
he comes back every episode.
Even though he wasn't there, it's like, and then there's Jim.
And he
you
just
know,
barely gets away just to come back.
Just
in
to
the
come
next-
back again in the next issue or episode. Yeah, that's Jim. Because yeah, I think you told me a couple weeks back Jim called you for a project, or maybe months.
Yeah, popped his head out
Yeah.
of the woodworks. So for a lot of people, Jim, the owner of like half of downtown Vallejo,
Like, oh yeah.
And I remember going to meet with Jim for the very first time, and I think he has like Tourette's. He's like about 67,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit older,
OG Jim.
but millionaire. Gave me a lot of game while we worked on that project. But I remember going to meet with him and the council of ladies that were like the judges for the project, the panel that got to choose who did the artwork, and we sat down with Jim for the first time, and Jim straight out of his mouth, well, I don't care who paints this mural. I just want you to know I'm a racist.
Right,
As
that's
long as
it.
the mural gets done. And he just interjected it so, easily. And I just saw the 3 ladies that were a part of the panel, their jaw just dropped.
Yeah.
They were like, and I looked at how comfortable Jim was in just saying, I'm a racist. I just want to make
He
sure
is
that this
who he-
mural is done on time. And I know he's like looking at me, and I'm like, okay. And I look at the 3 ladies, they're, they haven't picked up their jaw yet. And I'm like, look back at Jim, and then I look at the ladies again, and I was a little bit more disappointed at the women, but just the panel, because I was like, you guys have been around Jim.
Yeah, you should
You
know.
know Jim talks
should
like
know these
this.
things. Yeah, yeah.
Are you shocked because I'm in the room now?
Yeah, that's. I think
So I
that's
look
what
back
it
at-
was.
I look back at Jim. And I said, don't worry about it, Jim. I'm a racist too.
Right.
And Jim just started chuckling. Ha, 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 ha. I like this guy. Get this guy to paint the wall. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be an adventure. What's going on, good people? Andre Jamora here, and as the executive director of the Bay Area Mural Program, I want to tell you about Chroma Paint. Chroma is our go-to brand, and we want to make sure it's your go-to brand too. Visit them at their website at chromaonline.com. So
It's
Jim
still
would,
funny, bro. It's still funny.
Jim would come walk out there while we were painting the wall. So what was it? That thing was...
I remember before I came onto the project, you told me about Jim. You was just
I was
like,
like, you sure you want, hey,
you
because I
was
wanted
like,
to make
you ready?
sure.
And I was like, I'm ready for anything. You was like, neither racist. And I'm like, I'm ready to paint. I changed my mind. I was like, I'm ready to paint. Because
Yeah.
I didn't know what
And we
he's
knew
a
as
racist
businessmen
really meant.
as well,
'cause I hadn't
too.
met him yet,
Most of the owners of the property, let's just keep it 100, don't look like me and you. So we already knew it was an uphill battle
Yeah.
of like not being able to 100% paint the images that we were used to painting,
Mhm.
you know, which were melanated folks, you know, black Madonnas,
Yeah.
you know, this African theology was not going to go in some of these large scale public artworks,
Yeah, right.
and especially when the owners were, you know, like Jim.
Jim.
So if you notice that mural in Vallejo, because that thing is like 45 feet tall
It's a
by
huge
like
mural.
167
It's a
feet
huge mural.
wide.
It's a
And
huge
not one
mural.
person. After Jim said that, I went back home and sketched. I was like, all right, I want to make sure I keep this project. I got mouths to feed, my children getting grown. All right, this is my first big project. Let me make sure.
That was your conversation with me.
Yeah. I was like, man.
She was like, "Gee, this is what we painting. We not changing the script." I was like, "Okay, I'm with you, man. Crossing T's, dotting I's, bro. I got you."
We did the Carquinez Bridge, the bridge that leads into Vallejo,
Yeah.
and just a whole busy city scene with no people, just cars and
Just
people
cars
on the
and
move
buildings,
and buildings,
sailboats.
historical landmarks,
Yeah.
and we kept it at that. But that
But
project,
what was dope about it is that we did the fisheye lens.
yeah. So when you
So
peek it, it's like got that.
you know, so that keep the mural fresh.
Yeah.
Because I got some comrades that still go by it.
Nice.
And they'll send me pictures, you know. And it's still a dope looking mural because of the fisheye
Yeah.
lens, you know what I'm saying?
Keep it current.
And I was excited. It was a difficult task because I think to that date, that was my largest mural,
yeah.
you know, and I even had to get myself ready. Like I was running a lake. I was doing burpees and everything, getting ready to paint that big ass mural.
I
Man.
think that was your first time on a lift.
Oh, let's talk about it. Man. We live to the world. Let's talk
you wanna
about
talk
it.
about it, or
I was scared off my ass. I had never been on a boom lift or a scaffolding or nothing above 30 feet. I mean, you understand? I'm from East Oakland, California. You know, unless we're climbing on roofs and jumping off them, we don't really do heights like that.
And that was just, you know, working on a boom lift that goes 65 feet up isn't just about heights, because like even when you're on a roof, you still got solid ground.
Solid
beneath
ground.
you.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, that
we were-
lift, it raises up like this and it articulates and it swings out like this, and that thing just dangles.
Dangles. And then we're on the incline. The sidewalk wasn't even level. The sidewalk had a little angle to it, so we was tilted.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah, because the incline.
That's what made it terrifying for me.
I remember, I remember when because I was painting out there, just kind of like doing the outline. The first day when you came out there, you were like, "I'm ready, G," and we got up. You're like, "Let's go," you know, little by little.
Little by
was
little,
like,
yeah.
no doubt.
I was serious about that.
We did 10 feet.
I don't know if you remember. Remember, I had my hip against your hip because I was like,
I need as much leverage.
I needed some security. I needed to know, like, you know, where you go, I would go. So I was like, you trust yourself, I trust you then, because I didn't trust myself. I didn't know what was doing. I didn't know how to operate the equipment,
Man.
and so I think, not knowing how to operate it made me feel like I didn't know what was going on next.
Yeah.
Like we swinging left, we swinging right.
And then my first couple, you know, I wasn't the smoothest driver on the initial, so we jerking this way, jerking that way, and I'm just looking at the look. And Artistic, as you see, he's got a big, genuine smile that goes ear to ear.
Bro,
95% of the time. We were up on that lift, and my boy's face got serious. Straight faced on me. I was like, okay, all right, let me make sure you feel comfortable. We took it up 10 feet.
I mean, we up there with the pigeons.
We painted. We got up 20 feet. You're like, all right, cool. We hit 30 feet. You're like, take me down, G.
Take me down.
I'll never
I remember.
forget that
Don't
quote.
forget it. Don't forget it.
Take me down, G.
Don't forget it. It got sick. I don't know what about 20 feet and 30 feet changed for me, but it changed.
No, because you sway more. The further you get up there, you're in a different atmosphere.
It
and
changed,
that lift
man.
just kind of dangle.
I couldn't be up there. I remember it to this. It is funny because even when I go up on boom lifts now, or anything, even a swing stage, that's the only moment I think about is Vallejo. Like I don't
If
care.
I did Vallejo,
I could do any
I
mural.
could do this one.
You know, and Vallejo was my cherry. That
Yeah.
was the one that did it for me. And then I thank you for that. I thank you for that. You know, because now I find myself laughing at other artists that's scared to go up on the scissor lift or the boom lift or the
You got
swing.
bust their chair. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, beautiful man. That was
We was up there with the pigeons.
yeah. I mean, okay, like I said, man, I've never seen a pigeon take flight off of a rooftop,
That close.
and you just seeing their belly just fly over. You just, I'm like, okay, we up here.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that remind you that you up there because you know you don't see that walking on the sidewalk. Man.
Nah. Different perspective.
Yeah.
And then as well too, is moments like that that really put in perspective the difference between being an artist and being a muralist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like even on your mural journey, you have, you know, a few murals on the ground, several murals on the ground. Some people have never even been up on a scaffolding or a lift.
Right.
So, you know, you can have a whole career just doing murals on the ground. But then when you up on that boom lift, it puts it in a different category or perspective because it has that little sway to it.
Yeah.
So while you're up there, you got to try and paint a straight line or a nice circle.
Yeah.
You know,
While you
especially if you
swing.
got somebody else in the cart with you.
Yeah.
You know? And that was the other great thing to where I knew we was going to be brothers for life as well too, because the cage is only about 6 feet.
Yeah, it
by
wasn't
like
big.
4 feet.
We couldn't even take a lot of supplies up there with
Couldn't
us.
even take a lot of supply.
Yeah.
We had to choose which ones because both
What
of us were going
colors?
to be inside.
Yeah.
And when you're working that close to somebody in proximity, you really have to have a harmony.
You do.
You know, you have to, you know, because you're invading, you know, we're dipping down this way to get paint and you're right at somebody's feet and then you bump somebody, like you said, you know, we're, you know, back to back or side by
we was
side.
hip
So
to hip.
you gotta be comfortable in those moments. If you're not comfortable with yourself, if you're not comfortable with that person, the art is not gonna land right. It's not gonna be as, you know, what's the word? It's not gonna be as expressive as you want to because you're not in your zone.
You're not in your zone. You're not. Your rhythm is off. You know.
So once again, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do some of these large projects in the Bay without the support of artistic.
But then the other challenge too, I'm gonna say this, is working in a boom cage, is that you only limited to so many square feet at the time.
Yeah.
You can't just walk around or reach or you
That
know,
part.
or let me get this part here. You gotta wait.
Mm-hmm.
Check on your partner. Okay, his area's done, my area's done. Then we move on. You know,
it's got to be harmony.
Yeah, you can't step back.
That part.
You can't step back and look at the project. You know, it's a trust thing.
Yeah,
you know, you
totally.
trust in the process. You trust your partner. You trust the boom lift. You trust the height.
And that was before even squiggle grid. And I remember, you know, we couldn't even. Did we project for that one?
We did old school grid.
We did an old school grid.
You came up with the great idea to do a bigger, like I think our squares were 10 feet by 10 feet.
Okay.
And you was like, we go put these buildings and these squares and circles in, G.
That's
and I was like, let's go.
Man.
But not over 30 feet.
But then you got the hang of it. We was rocking and rolling.
So how I got the hang of it was we was taking a break, and I was like, I went to the store, and I was like, when I came back, I had motivation because I went to the store and got some motivation. And when I came back, I was like, gee, let me just get on there and just work it, you know. And I think from me learning how the equipment works, it made me more comfortable with you operating it because I was like, oh, okay, we can only go left, right, up, down, then twist, you know. And I don't know if you remember, and I still do this to this day, but I was calling out controls. I was like, we're going left, we're swinging right, we're going up. And I've done that with Mateo, I've done that with Arms, I've done that with Theezy, everybody that I've been on the boom lift with, because I feel like it gives them a comfortable sense of which way we're going, so you can get the right grip. Yeah. Because if you don't have the right grip, you know, in the situation I had with Naughty Rebel as the driver, you grip the wrong way, you might sway the wrong way, you know.
So that's why, you know, we had Artistic as director, you know, of operations for so many years. He still helps us out with projects. You doing like big and major things with Kimba nowadays. So, you know, we are thankful anytime we get Artistic to come and help us on a project. But those days of just figuring out, you know, lifts and getting measurements and trying to work swing stages like on the Steph Curry mural downtown Oakland YMCA.
Beautiful project.
Man, you really need to have that, like you said, trust in yourself and trust in somebody else to really be able to navigate those moments because you're not in it alone. You know, like even for the swing stage, you need an individual on both
Both
sides
sides, yeah.
just to go up or down.
And that was new for us. That was new for us. And then only being able to have 3 or 2 people, artists, painting on a mural at a time because of the swing stage ordinance and, you know, compliance. So something else that we have to take along with us in our journey, you know?
Yeah, man. So, you know, we're gonna come back to Kimba. We're gonna finish off with Kimba and what you got going on with Kimba.
It's all
but
good, yeah.
you know, while we navigating some of these BAM stories, can you recall your favorite or most memorable BAM project or mural? You've had so many roles with BAM, just as the director of operations, as lead artist, as supporting artist, you know, as admin team. You've really been a instrumental part in the foundation of the Bay Area Mural Program. Not just the inner works, but just even the production of these murals. A lot of the first murals, you know, we got artistics' hand and sweat, blood, and tears in those productions. So can you speak to, you know, just one of your most memorable productions with the Bay Area Mural Program?
Man, there's been tons, tons. But I hope I'm not incorrect. But when we did Miami,
Woo!
to me, I know that was early BAMP,
Yeah.
but that's my most memorable moment when it comes to the BAMP team. And I know a lot of the team members wasn't a part of that moment, but for me, it wasn't even about the mural we painted or the colors we used. It was more so about going to Miami,
The experience.
and being outside of Oakland.
Yeah.
And being outside of Oakland with my brethren, somebody that I trust and love and looked up to, and then also being with a team of individuals that supported the art that I didn't even know.
Right.
So it was like I had to learn and make friends on this trip, because I think we were out there for a week.
I think we had just about a week.
Just about a week.
Yeah.
You know, so not only we're trying to finish up this mural, party and do our little things on our social behavior, you know, but then it's also I'm making friends, you know, with I think it was Elena Museum.
Yeah.
And
cats from
you
Oakland.
had me at Black, and it's,
Mhm.
you know,
Wow.
yeah.
And Trap Art was down there.
Trap Art was down there.
Yep.
So I felt locked in, but I still knew that I was in another space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, I still look at those pictures on Instagram.
Man,
Just
that was a magical
just
moment.
to put it out there. I still look at the little reels that Sephora made. Shouts out to Sephora. And that everything was happening.
Oh, we had Burhan come and shoot the video
Burhan,
for Chroma.
bruh,
That's when
shouts
we got
out to
our
Burhan, you know,
Burhan.
and Mike, you know, it was
Mike, the
come
whole
on.
squad. They came. They were down in Florida.
I'll never forget that moment. That
So
was,
for people that don't know, let me back it up. This
That
was
was-
that was what that was before the pandemic. So that was like 2019, 18.
it's somewhere around there.
We
yeah.
went down to Art Basel.
Art Basel,
So we
yeah.
were doing a residency in the Atlanta Museum. Shout out to Haggard.
Yeah.
So we were there basically for a week, and we were trying to organize what we were going to do. We had linked up. I forget the name of the gallery that was down there. We had found the only Black-owned gallery. The sister was running
I
it.
forgot the name.
Had Me at Black came and did the podcast inside there. Shout
Yep.
out to Had Me at Black. And then we did the mural on the outside where we did like all of the, you know,
The different
melanated faces
from
of
all
the
over
world.
the world. Yes. Yeah.
In like that Ethiopian angel style.
yeah.
That was a powerful moment. So we were in Miami for Art Basel 2019-ish, I want to say.
Yeah.
And it was exciting because I remember being up on the scaffolding and painting, shooting the videos,
Shooting the
commercial.
videos.
Did our first commercial.
And meeting
for
other legendary
Chroma.
artists.
And that's what I was gonna say. Was
That's-
like being a fan of so many
Fan. There
artists
you go. I love that. Yeah.
that were down there creating
Yes.
and being a part of that, you know, just that whole cohesive like network and just energy that was going on for Art Basel.
I'll never forget it.
That was a magical moment.
That was my moment.
Man.
Because I love the idea of being able to walk away from our mural, letting our paint dry, and then going and fanning with the Shepherd Fairies and you know and the Tomicals and stuff. It was beautiful.
Atomico,
Yeah.
Yep, he was down there.
Yeah, he was
he's a
down there,
staple.
you
Shout
know,
out to
so it
him.
was-
Ross Terms had a
Ross
few
Terms
pieces
was down there blowing it up. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it was pretty much, it was everybody. I
It
can't
felt
even
like
think of,
it kind of felt like we was back in California. I ain't gonna lie to you.
man,
because
there was plenty of
it
California
was a lot of
artists.
regulars, but
Yep.
then there was some new faces that I had been fans of online.
Are you an artist struggling to sell your artwork? I know the feeling. I've been there, so much so that I decided to publish a book, The Art of Articulation. This book will help you not only navigate the art world, but give you the vocabulary to step into a room with confidence so you can sell your artwork. Pick up this book on Amazon today.
You
And I'll
know?
never forget like being up on the scaffolding and painting and feeling like a superstar because everybody was taking photos, coming by with their phone, shooting their little videos, and we had our paint gear.
Yeah.
So we just all painted up, and on the scaffolding, we had the colors that matched the wall. So
Yeah.
superstar status, everybody's like, yeah, can we take pictures?
We was
But
coordinating.
As soon as we got down off that scaffolding and got into the crowd, because mind you, also these $1 million galleries with all their you know,
Right.
gallery shows were going. So you also had people in Miami that were dressed to the T. So when we got down in the crowd, I also remember feeling like people looking at us like bums, like, oh,
Yeah.
who is that? Why?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, they ain't
I
even
remember that.
I was like, oh
remember
shit,
that.
we got to get back on the scaffolding, man. We superstars up
We
there.
still- we gotta get back on the stage.
We gotta get back on the stage.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, because it was Wynwood, so you had that. Like to me, like if I could explain it, the Wynwood to me was like West Oakland.
Yeah,
You know, maybe a lot more murals,
yeah.
but it looked like West Oakland to me.
West Oakland, like right there on Mandela Parkway, it just gives you
Right
that
there.
same
Same
you know, all of
vibe.
the warehouses, the murals, the you know,
Yeah,
just that same energy. So yeah, it felt very familiar. That's what I loved about
Yeah.
Wynwood.
yeah.
So yeah, Miami definitely.
That
I'm gonna have
was-
to put
that's-
that on the.
That's my one. That was
Man.
my one. That was my one.
So let's talk about what you got going on with Kimba nowadays. What do you I know you just had a big production. We had the kickoff for the Kimba meal, Kimba Village.
Right.
Right here
Right
at
here.
the BAMP headquarters. But then what have you done since that kickoff?
So yeah, so we had the first Kimba Village event here at BAMP headquarters, which was a super success, and it just inspired me to just keep pushing. Because
Yeah.
at first I was gonna just do a one hit wonder and go on to the next project. You know how we creatives,
Right.
but it was such a hit, and people felt attached to it, and they were involved in it, and they wanted to add to the story. I just kept it growing.
Yeah.
You know, and so the second installment we did over in San Francisco at AAACC, which went well.
Shout out to the twins.
Shout out to the twins, to the Green Twins. You know, we love them. But that went well. I was over there for 5 months. They showed me, exhibited me for 5 months, and it was a super success because I was able to build up my San Francisco family.
Yeah.
You know, and bring them in and help them, you know, tell the story along with me. And so the third installment we did with the help of some partnerships and some sponsorships, we was able to secure a gallery space in East Oakland.
Okay.
And so just this past February, we was hosting Kimba Village 3, and it was more immersive, more interactive. The dinner, we did a 5-course dinner this time around. DJ Jambalaya came through and shared some sounds. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Shido. And
Shogun.
and the art, because the space is 3,000 square feet, so I was allowed to do my sculptural work.
Yeah.
You know, so the work was more, immersive. So folks was able to walk on the artwork and touch it, pick it up, and do their whole thing. So that's kind of what has been going on with Kimba. As most folks know, Kimba established in 2012, so we're celebrating 12 years as of June, and we have a 12-year anniversary show coming up that we're preparing for. And so that's looking like is just compiling like old photos and memorabilia and things that we've encountered and interacted with over the last 12 years, and just bring it into the space and put it on exhibit.
Nice. Cool. So a lot of people don't know too much about your float identity, your identity as a float maker, prop designer, set, coordinator. Tell us a little bit about that, because I've always been fascinated, outside of your mural life, that you do these big, installations, that you also incorporate, your artistic, touch into as well too. But speak a little bit about just some
Yeah.
of your 3D pieces.
So the sculptural work, shouts out to Parade Guys. I started working with Parade Guys, I think it was 2014. And Parade Guys just put my 2D art on the 3D level. So where I was, anything that I had a vision of on a 2D scale, I can now sculpt it out of styrofoam or wood,
Dope.
and things of that nature. So with the Parade Guys, they produce all the major parades that take place in San Francisco, the Chinese New Year Parade, Pride Festival, the Italian Heritage Parade, as well as the Carnival. And then we used to also do parades for the Warriors, the 49ers and things of that nature. But prop design is something that, I fell into obviously after muraling, but it's become more of my primary love. Like I really fell in love with the props because they're large scale. And it's something about not only being able to create the art, but being able to climb on the art, sit
Walk
on the
around
art,
it, engage in it,
pick it up, or maybe hand it to somebody like that. That's it's more than just a canvas at that point. It's an interactive piece. So working there and being one of the lead artists on the prop designs has really expounded even my mural painting because I approach it differently now. I approach it more like it's more elemental. And I have to put more into it than just flat. You know what I'm saying? So, the prop design is a true love for me.
So let's talk about the impact of Oakland culture in your work. So I know, Kiss My Black Arts got its start in 2012. How important do you feel to, really represent or keep, Oakland themes in your artwork?
I think it's important because, as we all know, if you don't know, then take a ride around Oakland. The city is changing. And it's changing for the good for some and maybe for the bad for some, but that's not my call. But for me, it's changing. And the landscape is changing. So when someone would ask for a mural 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it would be a different background than it would be now. Because I have to change the bridge. I have to change the way certain buildings look, or I have to add buildings where buildings weren't 5 or 10 years ago.
Cityscape has changed.
It has changed.
Especially the bridge.
It
I
has
forgot about
changed.
that. We was painting different bridges. 5 years ago.
Yes, we were. And we went from the old bridge to the new bridge. And I remember the change because I remember clients requesting new bridge.
Because they had the design, but they were still Lego in it over the bay.
But then also Google had Old Bridge too. So when we look up San Francisco Bridge, it'll still be like Old Bridge. So we had to type in New Bridge.
New Bay Bridge.
So painting the, I love that you asked me that question because, I don't want to jump around. but painting the Oakland culture is very important, especially on the mural because it's long term. And it staples what used to be. I know one of our famous walls we do is the 31st of San Pablo, and I miss the fact that we aren't painting Oakland culture on that wall anymore, and it's mostly graffiti now. But I would like to see that come back because that helps those that's coming to Oakland who's seeing this new Oakland, see what Oakland used to be. Because to me, it's always been a beautiful city. Yes, there's been this share of abandoned buildings and this and that, but they are what they are. They're canvases for the artists of Oakland. So one of the things, this is why I was glad you asked that question. One of the things I've been doing lately is I have a project that I've been working on, and I've been highlighting the areas where we go to see sideshows. And these areas are the Denny's, the Chicken and Waffles, the AMPMs. And a lot of these areas are being shut down and closed down, and I've been seeing that over the last couple of months to be exact. And I thought it would be good to keep these places alive by putting them in the project, documenting them in the mural, or even talking about them in a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And so to answer the question, it's important to always paint Oakland's culture. you know, whether it's the unseen or the seen, and just putting that all together and just creating something beautiful.
Even as the landscape and the cityscape changes, you know, you can't respect the history if you don't see or know the history.
Right.
So I feel
Right.
like that's where the public art, you know, helps play that role in documenting, you know, of course the now, but then also, you know, things that newcomers might not know about the city, or
Right.
even some of the elders that live here. Those might be, you know, magical, memorable moments that, you know, need to just be captured.
Yeah.
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 Let's see. We've talked about art as a livelihood. Um, surviving gentrification.
Damn.
I mean, I feel like we kind of touched upon it a little bit already.
A little bit.
But it's like, how has your art, you know, when you said it wasn't your call, but we all are affected, you know, with the changes that
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
So how has your business been affected by just, we'll say, the change of Oakland?
I would honestly, I would say not by much,
Cool.
because we're Kiss My Black Arts, so we already don't give a fuck about a change that don't include people of color,
Yeah.
and or a change that excludes the people that are on a lower income bracket,
Yeah.
so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So the change is going to happen because obviously I don't have enough money to be competitive with the change.
Yeah.
But as an artist, I'm gonna still pluck their feathers.
Yeah.
And I'm plucking hard. I'm plucking hard, G. I'm plucking hard. And I love the impact that we have as artists, because we could paint a message gigantor on a wall that could affect a lot of people's emotions, whether they're corporate or whether they're just some kind of local scrimp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna resonate through images.
Yeah.
You know. Surviving gentrification, was that the question? Was
Yeah,
it like,
yeah.
surviving gentrification? Now, going back, I was a factor of the early gentrification here in Oakland. I was one of the residents that got offered money to move out of my place with the promissory note that once it's beautified, you can move back in. Wah, wah, wah.
Heard that before.
Yeah. And that led me to be one of the important factors of the Occupy movement here in Oakland.
Nice.
You know, so I wasn't just down there, you know, like they said in the media, hoorahing and just tearing up buildings. No, I had a family and we were out on the streets because my landlord decided he wanted to be part of some program. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it flared me up,
Yeah.
you know, and I was angry. You know, granted that this was right around the time when Kiss My Black Arts was birthing, so it was kind of perfect, but it was kind of like overwhelming at the same time, you know, because I didn't want nobody else to see me sweat, you know, because I was like, I'm artistic, you know, we you know, yeah, I don't have a home, but we're Kimba, you know,
Yeah.
so I still push the envelope,
Yeah.
you know, and through that, I learned that community was the only thing that I had and still got,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And so surviving gentrification is just by throwing that community ball at them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
keep the
saying?
community tight.
The community, right in the forehead. Like,
So that's great, because I also, you know, it's all coming back to me in like this rush of like one of the things that, you know, made me gravitate to you and your work back in the earlys as well too, is the fact that you were one of the first people that I thought of when I thought of like an artist mixed with the activist. And, you know, in more recent times they've come up with this term, you know, artivist.
Artivist, yeah, that's I've been hearing.
And, you know, like when I think of these new age terms like artivist, and when somebody finally explains to me what it is, I'm like, oh, you know how many brothers I know
Yeah, right.
that are artivists?
before it was a name.
Before it was a term, or
Yeah,
before
yeah,
it was
yeah,
legitimized,
yeah.
you know, we was doing it. So I feel like, you know, and coming to Oakland, you were one of the first, you know, shout out to Reefer One and, you know, Aerosol, but you were one of the first brothers that I saw doing this activism so intertwined with your art. Could you speak on why you feel that's important to, you know, keep that activism alive through your art message?
I think the reason why is because the art will be here after I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, even when I'm finished with it, the artist will be like, I'm still here. I'm still speaking the truth. You know, and so that's why it's important to me as an artist to make sure that I create the right pieces, paint the right murals, and put the right message. You know, even in my speakings, because all of these things are going to be here after I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and the truth on that for me is just staying solid, just being firm. You know, and standing on my own two, holding down my square.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, so you know, I feel like there's so much that we could chat about. Is there anything that you know, got on the top of your dome that you want to share? Any trying to think, any Kimba stories, any Bam stories?
Oh,
Man, there's so
Kimber
many.
stories, man. There's so
I feel
many.
like-
We might have to do another episode. These are vamp stories.
I know,
Because
right?
there's the pimp talk, man. We need to,
Oh,
you know.
man.
Yeah,
I
that's,
think that
that's another episode.
No, well, just going back to the Vallejo, I feel like we could do a whole episode on that Vallejo project because it was so, you know, instrumental and foundational for just like, it was like, it catapulted us into who we are today. Right?
Yeah.
So it was funny because we were talking about you building up your confidence with the, you know, just learning the controls on the boom lift and then, you know, taking it, you know, a couple feet at a time. But I also remember the Pimp Talk Chronicles that really got us super comfortable. It got us super comfortable because we took on these personas as pimps while we were up there painting. And we was talking to each other like this, man. It was like,
even,
hey, brother,
know,
hey, you better pass me that paint, brother.
You know what I'm
Cause
saying? Right now, you know what I'm talking about?
man, listen, Black. And
I remember looking down and seeing Thunder Thighs.
Thunder Thighs
roll on by, man.
Man, what did you call? Oh my goodness.
Man, it's still Thunder Thighs.
No, it was a different Thumper. Baby Thumpers. So at this time, when I first met Artistic, you were a little bit more. You were a little bit heavier. You were a little bit bigger. You know, like
a little.
You know,
so
Baby Samoa more.
Bigger.
Your Samoan family.
I required bigger.
Yeah. So I'll never forget. We was up on the lift, and I don't even remember if we heard no, we definitely didn't hear the ground shake.
I heard it.
You felt the vibration.
Yeah, when she
because
walked
I'll
by.
never forget you. Something just made your head turn. We're 30 feet up in the air on this lift, and something just made Artistic's head just whip around.
Now remember, I'm scared. I'm scared of this
and
lift.
Scared of heights,
but I still found time
to whip. And I'll never. And I was like, oh, what happened? And I looked where your eyes were looking, and you know, she beautiful sister.
Beautiful,
she had to be, you know, pushing at least 300. And I was like, wow, Art, like, you know, he like healthy women.
Healthy.
And he looked at me
That
and was
let
like,
me know
yeah, man, yeah. I like baby thumpers.
Baby thumpers.
I like to hear him coming before I see him. And that's what spawned the whole Pimp Talk, because we had talked about creating whole pimp albums. We had come up with songs. We were up there singing like these melodies and these little nursery rhymes, but in our pimp voice.
Oh, man.
And that's what really got us to take our mind off the fact that we 30 feet up in the air with nothing underneath us.
It helped. It helped me get that mural done.
And we were up there, we were like, man, and this is before cancel culture, right?
Yeah, this
so
was way before that.
But even during that time, I was thinking up there, I was like, man, I'm so glad we 30 feet up in the air and nobody can hear us. Because if anybody could hear us, we would be canceled.
It was uncensored.
It was super uncensored.
It was
we gave you like the filtered version here, but like that, it was really.
It was,
Baby Thumpers was a real. I think that's as nice as we could put it, but like, yeah, that was real, but it was super unfiltered, just so we could get comfortable.
And it worked. Like I said, it worked. We got the mural done. Yeah.
The album never came out. We need to go back and work on that.
We do.
The Pimp Chronicle album.
We do. It'll be fire.
I'm sure it will.
Fire.
We need to go 30 feet up in the air to write it, though.
That's cool. We just take a mic up there this time.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So, with that note, we're going to have to come back and definitely do part 2 with my man Artistic.
Yes.
You know, we're here. Just want to thank everybody. Definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button and check us on the next episode.
Give me the paint, give me the chalk, give me the urban artist talk. Give me the paint, give me the chalk, give me the urban artist talk.
Hey, beautiful art community. Thank you for watching another episode. Be sure to subscribe to Urban Artist Talk. Your subscription will help us to bring on more guests. We would love to hear your comments below. Thank you. We'll see you on the next episode.